Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Story and Things. We are a book podcast that sometimes does other types of stories, like this episode today. I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli.
And Cheli and I, we usually take long breaks.
We do.
In between, when we film.
Yeah, because we film in batches. Mm-hmm. So we'll read and watch a lot of things and then meet up like a month and a half later. And then we'll film. But the last time we filmed was last weekend, which was Stranger Things. Everything. Stranger Things, volume beginning to end. And
beginning to end, but not volume 2 of season 4.
So today is July 1st. And Stranger Things season 4, volume 2, which is just 2 episodes, came out today.
Yeah, and I stayed up.
You stayed up to watch it. How do you feel?
I feel a little out of it, honestly, because I'm usually pretty good about sleeping
early.
Yeah, so I do feel a little out of it. I didn't go to sleep until 4 a.m.
Yeah, you texted me when you fell asleep, and I was just like, is she okay?
I wasn't okay, because my brother and I, we've watched Stranger Things together, and so he was like, no, sorry, it was me. It was my fault. I told him, we have to watch it the night before because on Friday I have class and then I'm going to come see Cheli. So,
yes.
Now I'm here.
You're here. And
thriving.
You watched it and you finished around 4 a.m. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. and watched it. So it wasn't too far apart. We were still connected spiritually. I felt you when I was watching it.
You did?
Yeah, but we haven't not said anything. I'm so proud of myself. I'm trying today
to be a new woman.
I'm trying to put on my
stoic face.
Yes. I can do this.
She's trying to be mysterious. She doesn't want me to know how she feels about it. But I have a feeling that I know how you feel.
That, this volume would have dragged me out, but Vecna's ass dragged me back in. Oh, I can't hide that.
I do love Vecna.
Yeah.
He looks hotter.
He looks hotter. What happened? Did you get a haircut? It's like the singed hair.
he lost the nose and he just looks 10 times better.
Yeah. Did you slim your face? It's like, bitch, I lost my nose. So yes, I slimmed my face actually.
But a fuerzas, so.
A fuerzas, but still look kind of good.
Oh
my God. Love a man who can breathe. Love a man who doesn't have a deviated septum because he doesn't have a septum.
I love a man who just knows how to stand there awkwardly.
I know.
And just stare at the kids.
Love that for him. He's so good at it.
Who did you think was going to die this season? Because the writers or whoever, people were teasing that it was going to be a bloodbath. Who did you think was going to die? I
thought it was going to be Will. And around the time I started volume 2, I thought it was going to be 11. So Will, 11. And that's pretty much it. I didn't think the adults were going to die. They had it handled. And I didn't think the older teens were going to die.
I thought that Nancy and Dustin were going to die.
Okay.
I could have seen Will dying, but then because there's another season, I thought maybe he'd survive this season.
Yeah.
For next season.
Okay.
That was my guess.
I think overall, these 2 episodes, you did enjoy them. I don't know if you're okay with how it ended. That's all I have to say.
Okay. I don't know how you would feel about this ending. I'm going to guess that you were left underwhelmed. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
You want to make a comment, don't you?
No, I'm not going to make a comment. I just think, let me make a comment, but it's nothing towards how I feel. But have you noticed every time we guess on how the other person feels, it kind of shows how we feel? You know what I mean? It's kind of a representation of our own.
Is that how
I'm not
you
saying
feel?
anything about this. I'm trying to think back to like an episode where...
No, because I feel like sometimes I know when you don't like something and I love it.
Is there a reason why I wouldn't like it?
Why
I would think it's underwhelming?
I just feel like maybe you were expecting more.
Okay, I'm okay with that answer.
All right, so episode 8 opens up with a little bit of a reminder of what happened, right? And also, just to clarify, we already did a recap. We're not going to do another one.
Yeah, go watch it if you want to.
Go watch it if you care to have a recap of everything that already happened.
Yeah, it's our episode before this one.
Yeah, so episode 8 opens up with a little reminder that 11 pretty much banished 1 into another universe.
She did banish him, but she didn't do it on purpose.
No.
Yeah, she was younger.
She was a baby.
So I feel like she felt like she was doing something, but she just didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
She thought maybe he's going to die, but he didn't actually die. He went into another world. And so the last episode ended with Vecna going into Nancy's mind because he wanted her to know his backstory, what happened, how he ended up this way.
Did you think Nancy was going to die then?
I didn't think she was going to survive because of... I don't know. I don't think she was going to die then, but I did expect her to just die at the end.
Okay.
But so she is... Where is she? She's at the...
She's in the Upside Down, and they're in the trailer park where Chrissy died.
No, yeah. But in her mind, Vecna takes her to the hospital. Or where the facility where they did the experiments. And so she's trying to run away from Vecna, and Vecna's like... trying to taunt her, and he grabs her and he basically tells her like, tell 11 what I'm gonna show you, and he shows her what he plans to do to the world, which is basically have the upside down world bleed into the real world.
At this point, I was kind of scared she was gonna die.
Oh, you were?
Because they didn't have any music, and then it was kind of funny because they were at Eddie's trailer, remember? And they're all looking through his music like, we have to find music. And he's
my God, like, I love
all
this
these
part.
metal cassettes. This is music.
I know, because Robin's like, do you have any Blondie? Is it Blondie? I don't even know. She lists artists and he's like, this is music. And it's just all metal music and it's not Nancy's style at all.
I thought Nancy was going to have like a fight sequence because with the way the volume 1 ended, I thought she was going to reach an understanding with like, Victor, he got out of this, so I can too. So I thought she was going to stand up to Vecna.
Oh.
That's where, and it was going to have metal music and she was going to have a fight sequence.
But when you look into Vecna's eyes, you're just so...
You get lost in them.
Yeah, and you're just so stunned because of his beauty and grace. And he's a little scary too. So she was probably just frozen.
Yeah.
In fear.
But love.
Lust?
Also. I know. She's like, there's Jonathan, there's Steve, but... Vecna's looking kind of good. He's one, but is he the one?
Wait, that sounds like a dating show. That's cute. Okay, so, and then she wakes up.
Yeah.
Because he lets her go because, remember, he wants her to tell everyone what she saw. And so now we're taken to Russia.
Joyce, Hopper, Dimitri, Meyer, and Yuri. They are escaping the prison. But before they get out, they actually end up in a lab where they see a bunch of demogorgons and demodogs. So they know that whatever's happening at that prison is a little suspicious.
Sketch, because it also seems like they're experimenting on them, or they're creating
on a
new
table
ones.
Too.
Yeah, or like, I don't know what they're called. They're like tubes with water.
Yeah, which you always see in science movies when they're about to make more.
I know. It's kind of like Resident Evil.
Yeah. You haven't even played it. Have you?
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
I've watched...
I'm sorry, I came for you. I'm sorry, I came for you.
God, you see that? That was personal.
Sorry. Okay, but they end up escaping really smoothly because they get out, get on a van, freaking drive around, like drive over a mountain, and it's as if all the security guards are like, there's too far away.
Not even.
That's like a day trip.
That's not what happened.
Yes, they escaped.
But they like went through the fence like really fast and like toppled it over, and then they were driving off really fast.
They were getting shot at.
And they were getting shot at. It wasn't like they were like, oh man.
It kind of rewatch that scene. Someone rewatch that scene because they literally ran out of ammo in like whatever pack they had, and no one reloaded. Everyone was like,
no, it's because they went out.
Chief said he wouldn't give me more shots until next week. I'm not about to waste all my shots.
No, it's because when they were leaving, shit was already happening at the prison with the demogorgons. And so they were hearing the shots. And so they were like, oh shit, we gotta go over there.
Yeah, there was priorities. Enzo did mention, because they end up finding a safe house that Yuri showed them, where he was like, we have another plane here. It's gonna be great. But it's just like a little...
Oh yeah, they beat the information out of him.
Yeah, but it's like literally like a little plane. It's called Katinka. He named it after an ex-lover. So stupid.
It's a stupid thing.
But he's like, doesn't work, but I can get it to work for us to fly. But he's bullshitting them the whole time because he's not really fixing it.
Yeah, and he's a little salty because, I mean, he was kind of taken against his will, and he was, like, tied up, and...
You get sequestrado once. Kidnapped one time. All of a sudden, there's Bad Blood by Taylor Swift. No.
Okay. Okay, so they're trying to figure out how to get out of Russia. And then Enzo realizes, oh, I actually know someone who can come and save us. I don't think he mentions a name. Not that I remember, at least. I don't think it really matters. But so he dials a phone number and he's like, oh, I need to get in contact with so-and-so. Here's my phone number. Here's whatever. And then he hangs up. And then everybody else is like, why'd you hang up? And he was like, oh, well, they'll give us a call back.
Yeah, because you have to call like a hotline in order for them to double check that you're being legit.
Yeah.
Because this is Soviet Russia. So
exactly. So you got to be careful. Finally, after... how long Hopper and Joyce finally have a little bit of a moment. It was kind of funny, though, because Joyce was like, oh, have you been thinking about our date? And he was like, I've been thinking about that lasagna.
I'm gonna fuck up some breadsticks, Joyce. You don't even... And he's like, you really wouldn't... Nothing else?
And the
like,
fucking wine, bitch.
Nothing else? Oh my God.
The pasta.
They're gonna come around with the Parmesan? I ain't gonna tell them to stop. They're gonna keep it going. Keep it going, bitch. Put some on the freaking breadstick.
I know. He was so hungry.
But then he did, like, they were having a little, like, moment where she was like, and anything else after?
Dessert, maybe.
But you're going to get your own because I'm not getting 2 spoons.
That's not what he said.
You're getting your own. No, but he just like, they keep saying like, what about after that? And after that? And
he's like, well, use your imagination. He's like, the reality is better.
Yeah, I don't have to use my imagination.
And they start kissing.
I know.
It would have gone farther, but then they got the phone call.
Dude, at this point, by the way, oh my God, I know you told me he lost weight for this role. He's so skinny.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did it change how you feel about him?
I know.
I know how much you love him.
Boy used to be thick. Now he's skinny legend. So like,
how do you feel?
I feel, oh my God, I don't know. Off topic of Stranger Things, but I just feel a certain way when actors have to lose or gain so much weight for a role. Oh, that's so hard.
I know, but it's realistic though, because they weren't feeding him. They were only feeding him soup. Yeah. And cockroaches. I mean, he was looked skinny though.
He looked hella good. At the end of their plot line, just to end it nicely, they do end up getting a call back, and they hear from a lady who they don't know who she is, but they said that Dr. Owens has been compromised and he was with a little girl.
Indisposed, she said.
And he was with a little girl, and Hopper's like, that has to be Elle. Something's happening. And they did mention that something about Elle being with...
a portal. They mentioned a portal.
But also Elle being with Joyce's kids. So Will and Jonathan. So they knew something was going on. So they were thinking like... Well, remember, Joyce, in season 3 and season 2.
Yeah. We've been through this before.
That it's a hive mind. All of the things from the Upside Down, the Demodogs and Demogorgons are a hive mind. So maybe if we kill the ones that we saw in the Russian prison...
then it would save them or help them with whatever it is that they're doing.
Yes.
So that's basically their mission. But let's go to 11.
Okay.
11, remember, she was in...
Nina.
Nina is like a little machine. And she's trying to get her powers back, and she did get them back at this point.
Yeah.
And so she's finally able to do, the cool things that she did before. But Dr. Brenner and Dr. Owens are having very conflicting ideas of what they want to do with her, right? Like, yes. Dr. Brenner wants to give her more time. He's like, she's not ready to go after one.
And Dr. Owens is very... very big on she gets to choose if she wants to stay or not. So we can't force her to stay here. Because
she did mind travel, and she saw what her friends were doing, which was Max.
It was everyone. No, she mind traveled, and she saw everyone, not including Jonathan, Will, or Mike, or Argyle, but she doesn't know Argyle.
She didn't know Argyle like
she saw all of them sitting together plotting to kill Vecna. And she knew that they were going to use Max as bait. And
that's what she understood from the thing that she was saying.
And at this point, she's already had, all those mind experiences with one. She knows what happened. But at this point, she's set that she wants to go. And
she wants to save her friends.
Brenner's not down. Papa's not down.
Papa said no.
But Owens is. And Owens, tells her to go get ready to leave. But when she's about to leave, the military comes in and they attack Owens and handcuff him. Meanwhile, she walks into Nina, to say a final goodbye to that water tank. But she walks into the room and Brenner ends up closing the door behind her and is basically like, you can't go. You can't leave me.
Yeah.
And he tries to convince her to stay and she goes off on him and is like, you know what? I thought I was the monster.
But turns out it was you, bitch.
Yeah, thank you. High five, 11.
You're the one who made one the way that he was because you experimented on him and you were just a horrible person to him.
Dude, I was so sure that Brenner was going to have a change of heart. At this point, I was like, he had, because he started crying.
He was straight up crying, dude. There was tears coming down those eyes. I didn't think he was.
But did you think that he would, because he gave her like a sleeping drug.
He did, and then he also put a collar on her.
Yeah.
I think it was more so of a precaution. Not excusing him, but I don't think he was ever going to use it on her.
Yeah.
But still, like, that's weird.
That's weird. Oh my gosh. He was very obsessed with this power. And the thing is, the place that they're at, the facility, does end up getting ambushed.
By the military.
Yes. And while they're looking for 11,
they want to kill her, by the way. Like, they want to get rid of her because they think she's responsible for everything that's happening.
So Dr. Brenner picks her up. She's freaking half asleep. And he's like, okay, they're looking for you. We have to get out of here. And while they're trying to escape, when they finally make it outside, Dr. Brenner does get shot. Hella times, by the way.
Yeah, he gets shot a lot. And you can just tell that man, he's not going to make it.
No.
And so 11 is kind of like thrown on the ground because remember, he was carrying her. And so they're both on the ground. And then the people on the helicopter are like, we got to kill her.
We got to kill her. Do we have authorization?
Yes, you do. Okay, great.
Yeah. Even though Dr. Owens tries to talk them out of it, they're like, no, we got to kill her.
Let's pause for a second because why don't we mention what happened between the pizza van before they finally reach 11. So it's going to be very brief because it's like a small thing. They're just kind of on the road. Yeah. And it's just a conversation between Will and Mike in the back. And Mike is very like dejected. He's feeling very insecure about meeting with 11 again because he's thinking that, you know what, she's too good for me. I've always known that she's too good for me. And I just knew that 11 just needed somebody. And I just happened to be the one that was there when, she escaped from the hell that she was living. And so he's feeling like there's nothing much that he can offer her. And he's telling all of this to Will. And Will kind of has a moment where he starts to kind of project how he's actually feeling. And
he does it through showing him the painting that Will had been holding.
Yeah, so remember he made him a painting and he didn't want to show it to him before. I kind of had a feeling that it was about Dungeons and Dragons. It makes sense, right?
You know what, though? Okay, because when he shows it to him, Mike is like, oh my God, this is amazing.
He was so amazing. It was so cute.
It was really cute. Do you think Will was lying when he said that Elle commissioned him to do it? Okay. I was just wondering because my two brain cells was like,
you were like trying to remember, like, wait, hold on, did she? No, because remember, she didn't know what he was painting in the first episode of season 4. And so I think Will was kind of embarrassed. So he was like, yeah, I mean, it's just this thing that Elle wanted me to do. But in the painting, it was like a dragon. And then it was like,
all their characters from Dungeons and Dragons.
Characters. And then Mike was leading the pact and he had a little heart on the shield. And Will was telling him, you're the heart. Like, you're the one who is the glue of this, whole team.
It would have been funny if he had shown him the painting and then it just ends there. Oh, that's really nice. And then it cuts to someone else. That really cheered me up. Thank you.
Like, oh my God, cool, bro. And he's like, what if he didn't like it? He was like, well, actually, this isn't that cute.
Actually, the shading is off. That's not how the dragon looked that we fought, actually.
And so Will starts talking about how 11 supposedly feels, but we all know he's talking about himself. So basically how he starts it is that he says that 11 would be so lost without Mike. That these past few months, she has been really lost without Mike. And how even though she's so different, Mike has always been someone really important to her.
Yeah.
And the thing is that really makes the scene is that he's not even looking at him. He's like completely like looking away from him. There's tears in his eyes and he's just like, telling him that even though 11 is different, you make her feel like she's special and she's better.
Yeah.
And he says that even though there's, they're growing apart, it's because she's scared. Like, she's scared of losing you. And so they're having this moment where he basically says, like, Elle needs you, Mike. But
you can tell.
You can tell that he's talking about himself.
Because after they finish talking, Mike is like, you know what? Thanks, man. He's all looking at the painting.
He's like, yeah. I think Mike is honestly just doesn't even know what to say. He's just like, yeah.
Well, okay. Mike's not one to put, his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, he's kind of like, okay.
But even after, Will looks away and he's covering his mouth because he's like full on sobbing.
So it's one of those cries where you have like your whole fist like against your mouth so you don't hear like the sobbing. And he's like crying. Like,
yeah.
Noah Schnapp did so well.
Yeah, he did.
With the portrayal of Will's emotions.
And Jonathan sees everything.
Yeah, he does. And he also was looking at him when he said, oh yeah, Elle commissioned it. Because I think he knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Like, you fucking liar.
You liar. I commissioned it.
It was actually me.
Rude of you to say. But it's really sad. How do you feel about Will and Mike's relationship?
Well, I feel like it's normal for friends to grow apart, but they had been so close for so long that I am glad that Mike does eventually say, like, oh, you've always been my best friend and you're still my best friend. I just kind of wish that Mike was a person who would constantly say his emotions, because even with 11, he doesn't really say his feelings.
He doesn't. And it sucks because everyone else is having a bad time and he doesn't say anything.
He's just like, well.
When I imagine Mike, I don't imagine him to be one who falls apart so easily. But he does. Constantly.
Yeah.
It's and he's portrayed as like the leader of the group mostly in season 1. Mm-hmm. But in this season it really was everyone else and Mike was just like, okay, Mike, push.
Yeah.
Do this.
Push through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like Mike, well, it's showing his insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Like that he just doesn't really know what to do now that him and 11 are getting older.
Yeah.
And, he just doesn't know what their future looks like.
Oh, yeah. It's really sad.
Okay, so now let's get back to them finally meeting. They finally get to 11.
Yes, they finally drive up to her. She's on the floor when they get to her.
No, she's on the ground. She's standing, because remember.
Oh, you're right. She was on the floor when they saw her. Like, oh, there's that little lump right there.
That's my girl right there. Uh-huh.
But they finally get up to her. And it's really cute because Mike hugs her. But she doesn't realize who it is for a moment because she's so into like everything that just happened. Mm-hmm. So it is a really sweet moment of her hugging Mike. And then she goes to hug Will. I thought that was really sweet.
That was really sweet. And he looks really happy to see her too.
Can I say something? It's a missed opportunity for this show to not have built a better relationship between Will and 11. I don't think they had that much of a relationship.
Oh, before this?
Before this. Because I wish there was more built up to it. Like, even in volume 1 of season 4, it showed him, like, being there for her and, like, talking to her. But it was such a small thing. I wish he was more present.
I think it makes sense, though, because he is going through, like, a bit of a slump.
I know.
He's going through, like, emotional turmoil. And you can definitely see it in these episodes more. But I do agree. I kind of do wish that there was something more to it. I mean, he did help her with Angela.
Even with what you said, though, I feel like if more had been built, even if it was between her and Jonathan.
Oh, that's what I wanted for these 2 episodes. But
yeah, I just wish there would have been more of that sibling connection between them 3.
Yeah, so do I.
That would have been really nice. But they do end up catching up to 11. She catches them up with everything that she's seen, and she tells them that everyone in Hawkins is in danger. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, we need to drive back today. Right now. We need to get there. And Jonathan's like, 2,000 miles, girl? We're not going to make it.
So 11 basically comes up with the idea that if she can find Max in her mind space, then she can piggyback onto what she's going through.
And then save her from Vecna.
Yes. So she's like, we need somewhere where we can have a salt bath. And it's so funny because Argyle was kind of useless in the first
He was literally, he's always high.
He's always, dude, I know. His eyes are so fucking red. These These 2 episodes, high the whole time.
You think the actor's actually high? How do they get their eyes so red?
Don't go to sleep.
Just don't sleep for a whole month.
But
he's like, Salt, I got you. Do you need 6,000 pounds?
600?
600 pounds? I don't know.
And then he starts measuring up 11 and he's like, I think this is going to be right. This is going to work.
My measurements are correct. I got you, girl.
So he goes to the pizza place he works at. There's a business in the area they're in. And it's so funny because he goes in and the guy like, working at the pizza place, they're the exact same person.
And he's also high.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, I am not here for one of those.
No, he says, my dude.
My dude, I'm not here for one of those pies, those delicious pies. But we need to use like your kitchen for us to put this girl in a tank for her psychic abilities to awaken something like
and
that.
Save the world. And he's like, oh, my dude, I would so do it, but I was going to go to Taco Bell right now.
Yeah, he's like, I was going to meet up with someone at 10. I can't. And then Jonathan offers him weed and the guy leaves. He's like, okay.
Do whatever you want.
And so they go to the back. They get the
cooler?
Yeah, it's a cooler where they keep all the dough and they just fill it up with hella salt.
Well, they take everything out first and then they put water in it and then they fill it up with salt.
But while that's happening, because at the end, Jonathan is the one mixing all of this together, she's sitting with Mike at the pizza place and they're having like a cute little moment. You know, they're saying that they did miss each other and Argyle comes and brings them pizza. And he's like, here you go, pineapple pizza. And Mike is like, oh my God, that's a crime. And then 11 has it. And she's like, really good.
It's so good.
Yeah, and so they're trying to force Mike to eat it. But that's not the important part. Jonathan is in the back with Will.
He brings up a memory of when Will like put a Lego in his nose. And it's just like a cute like sibling moment where he's just trying to reminisce on something funny.
Yeah.
And Will's like, I mean, I kind of remember it, but not entirely. And Jonathan is like, oh, it's just so funny. Like, and I just laugh. And it's just like, I just wanted to tell you, like, even though I don't say anything, like, you know, I'm always here for you. So that was kind of like just him trying to let him know, like, oh, I think about you, you know, like.
You're my little brother. I love you. And if anything's wrong, I hope you can come up to me like how you used to.
Will just answers mid-sob, like, I'm always here for you too. But he says it in a way where he's so surprised by this moment, that this moment is even happening, that he's just like taken aback and they hug. And it's just a really cute moment because you can tell that Will's been needing this. Like he's been needing acknowledgement. But
I still feel really upset. Not upset. I'm just a little, I don't want to use your word, but like it's
underwhelmed. What? See, I knew it. Oh my God.
I feel like Jonathan is a character that if he died, it would catch people by surprise because of how little they do with him. Because I thought he was going to be a better character because in season 1, he was portrayed as kind of a loner who does have a heart. He's just looking out for his little brother. And I mean, if you think about it, Will went missing because he took an extra shift. And I thought they would use that in order to build his character of like him setting blame on himself.
But he didn't.
They didn't. They didn't use that at all. He came back and Jonathan's like, okay.
Well, he's back now, so I'm going to go be stoned the whole time.
It's really his mom who does everything to help Will. And he's just kind of on the sidelines with Nancy. And even Nancy even his relationship with Nancy, it's very like stale now. And it was stale before.
Well, can I tell you something?
Yes.
That doesn't really have to do with the show.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is real, and I don't really feel like looking it up. But allegedly, it's because he got in trouble with a drug possession. And so that's why he's not in the show as much anymore. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's what actually happened. But it makes sense because he was more involved in the first season.
He was.
And then it's like he slowly started disappearing.
And I don't think that the Duffy brothers, the Duffer? The Duffys. But I feel like they wouldn't have done a character so wrong when they've done so much right with the other characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, there must have been something.
For the most part.
Yeah. But it's disappointing to see because I wish he had more of an older brother role.
Mm-hmm. I am happy, though, that Will finally is getting like a little minuscule of what he needed.
Yeah.
He just needed some love. and he's finally getting it, or a little sliver of it from his brother right here.
If that is true, allegedly, if it's true, if it's true, that's a real shame that Nancy just kind of like is hopping between boys. I don't know. I really hate that.
But nothing happened though.
I don't want to. I'm underwhelmed with the sibling relationships.
Okay. Well, I completely understand. But why don't we put a pause? Because if we go further, it would be in the action. Yes. So why don't we put a pause and go back to Nancy and the rest of the gang? So what happens with them back in episode 8?
So they are set to kill Vecna. They think that, they know that his body is at Victor Creel's house. And now that Nancy knows what's going on, they know that their time is limited because Vecna's plan was to kill 4 people. And when he opens
4 chimes.
Yeah, 4 chimes from the clock. But when he opens 4 gates where those 4 people died, it would mean the end of the world.
It pretty much means that the upside down world gets pushed into the real world.
So she basically comes up with a plan. It's mostly her. She's very strategic.
I just want to say Nancy Wheeler is a badass. And we didn't really go through it in the last seasons.
No.
But she has always been a badass. Yeah.
She's good at fighting. She's good with weapons. She's so good at strategy. And she's good at keeping her cool in very
scary times.
Yeah. So she basically sets this whole plan up where they're going to have Dustin and Eddie in the Upside Down distracting the bats while Nancy, Robin, and Steve go kill Vecna in the Upside Down?
Yes.
Yeah, they kill him in the Upside Down. Meanwhile, Max is going to be bait in the real world with Erica and Lucas with her.
And they'll be in the real world, but they'll be in Victor Creel's house.
Yes. So this was the whole plan. And to get ready for this plan, they needed weapons. So they go to this weapon place that Eddie suggests. And when they get the weapons, they actually crash into the basketball guy, captain of the basketball team.
Jason.
And they're all buying weapons too. And he looks at Nancy and is like, I've never pegged you as someone who buys weapons.
Yeah, you don't seem like that kind of girl.
And he gets very aggressive.
And he gets very close to her.
Yeah, because he grabs the shotgun and he's like, if you fought someone with this, it wouldn't be good because they can just grab your shotgun. And he grabs it very aggressively. And he was like, and they can attack you. And she basically is telling him you need to let go. You need to let go. And he does let go. But she warns everyone and they run.
Yeah, they get out of there because, they're all there. Him and his little friends.
When they're leaving, I don't know if it happens when they're leaving or when they're getting there. Just to mention, they did steal an RV.
Oh, yeah.
They stole an RV that Steve is driving. And there's a moment where Steve is sitting with Nancy and he's basically saying driving this RV makes me think of how I've always had this dream of having 6 little Harringtons. 6 or 8 of them. And
we would just pick up and go all across the country and visit places. And he just really wanted a big family. And Nancy's kind of 6.
It's funny because she's like, that sounds good. Except for the kids part. That's a nightmare.
But then he looks behind him and he's like, I've had practice. Yeah. That was so cute.
Oh my gosh. Just wanted to mention that because that comes up later. But their plan is being executed. And they have Lucas, Max, and Erica go to Victor Creel's house in the actual world. And they're not talking at all. They're using a paper and pen to talk to each other because they don't want to warn Vecna that they're there.
Or of their plan or anything.
Yes. When they get to the room where Vecna is at,
they have little lights.
Yeah, they have lamps that are kind of setting them off where Vecna's location is. Max turns off her music and she starts baiting him okay, I'm here. Where are you?
Well, before she baits him.
Okay.
Max and Lucas do have a little bit of a moment when they're kind of just waiting because they're waiting for a signal. And
because Erica's outside. Yeah. And she's basically the flashlight Morse code person that's communicating with everyone.
Then Lucas has his own flashlight. So they do make plans. They're movie tomorrow?
Yeah, and then she, instead of saying yes, she draws a picture of both of them holding hands.
And I think she drew him with flowers.
Yeah. It was really cute.
But yeah, then she starts baiting Vecna.
Wait. Before. How do you feel about that relationship, Max and Lucas?
They're cute.
Really?
They're cute. They're really, really cute. I grew to like them because they were so toxic at the beginning.
They were, but then again, like you said, they're kids.
Yeah, they were really young, so it makes sense. But I really like them now. I think they're really cute.
I think they needed to grow.
Yeah.
And they did. So it's really sweet. And okay, another thing. This whole plan, in order to make sure that Max won't die in there, she's trying to think of like all of the happy moments in her life.
Yeah, because she's thinking to herself, like, he's trying to get into my mind, but I'll just think of like happy things that I've experienced.
And it's funny because she's talking about this with Lucas, and Lucas is like, well, am I in any of them?
She's like, you might be in one.
You might be in one, but I don't know.
Don't ask questions.
So while she's calling for Vecna to come, 11 at the same time goes into the mind place and reaches for Max and sees the moment when Max gets taken by Vecna. I think she does, because she ends up in a memory of Max's.
Yeah, but just so that we say what is happening with the other groups.
Oh, yeah.
Nancy, Steve, and Robin are traveling in the Upside Down world, and they're trying to get to Victor Creel's house. And remember, everything's like connected, so they can't touch the vines, because then then Vecna will know where
it's a hive mind, so he'll feel where they're at. It's kind of funny because when they open Victor Creel's house, you see the stairs and it's just complete vines. And Robin, she kind of makes a face that's like, oh, fuck, because she's really clumsy. Mm-hmm. So
when they're heading to Victor Creel's house, Steve and Nancy have a bit of a moment. Mm-hmm. And it's not intense or anything, but he does tell her, like, oh, thank you so much for pretty much shifting his whole life, because of her, he changed as a person, because remember, he used to be a fuckboy. Fun fact.
Yeah.
And he tells her that, you know, sometimes I think like maybe it could have been another girl that changed me, and then what would have happened if we had met just now? Mm-hmm. Maybe we could have lasted. And she doesn't say anything, but he tells her, like, you know the story that I told you with the six little nuggets? Yeah, I missed an important part of the story, and it was that you were also in that dream. But then Robin interrupts. They have a lot of moments like this where they're having like a vulnerable moment, and then someone interrupts.
Yep, it really sucks.
What were your thoughts?
Like I said, it just goes back to the way I feel about Jonathan, because he's just so unlikable right now, in my opinion.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, he's so unlikable that I
don't think there's nothing to him. That's why.
There isn't. And that makes me so angry, because I know that the reason that they're kind of having like a rough moment is also because he didn't apply to the college she wanted to go to.
Well, she doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that. But I hate that that's the only reason. Mm-hmm. There's no other quality about him that's good or bad. I don't even know why they ended up together at this point. Because, like, I don't know. What Jonathan was in season 1 didn't follow through to season 4.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, well, she should end up with Steve, because Jonathan's done nothing.
Jonathan
He's like
is just
nothing to me. So
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in season 5. I think
it's Jonathan season.
I know, it's just his season. Everybody else dies. And I think that they're doing a really good job in showing how strained a relationship can get with distance. But I do wish that they would have given him more like character, because I kind of agree with you where it kind of feels like, oh, well, I kind of have to root for Steve because there's nothing to Jonathan. But then again, I've always loved Steve, so I don't know.
I do really love Steve too. But it sucks. That's why I'm very like, I feel a certain way about Steve and Nancy's relationship, because I don't like knowing that they're going to end up together. Like, I feel like it's very set like that. Unless the Duffys are pulling a fast one.
I think that, but then I'm worried that one of them might die. Because, like I said, I did expect Nancy to die. Dude, and I can see that for season 5.
If Steve dies and she ends up with Jonathan, I'm out. I'm out. That's so dumb. I'm sorry. I hate that. She's already so triggered. I hate that. Doesn't that sound bad?
It is bad. No, I agree.
Hype me up.
Yes, keep going. Go. I just think that I just think there needs to be a good reason as to why she ends up with whoever she ends up with.
Yes, thank you.
And not just because she's comfortable.
So that's why I feel a certain way about the parts with Nancy and Steve in this one. Even the parts with Nancy and Jonathan, I feel a certain way about it.
We'll get there.
Okay,
but yes, I actually really like this part though. But then I am really nervous for the future.
But they don't get really far into Victor Creel's house, by the way, because they get to the steps and there's like a little tremor and that causes Robin to accidentally step on a vine and they're immediately stuck towards the wall.
It was more than a little tremor.
It was like a little one. A little 0.3.
Whole ass earthquake and you're like, the house shook a little bit.
A 1.2. No one else knows about earthquakes. That's very Californian of us to say.
It's not just us.
Not a 1.2. I know, but you know.
But anyway, yes. So then the little vines start pulling them apart, and not their bodies, but like just
pulling them apart from each other towards the wall.
And so now they're on the wall, and the vines are going all over them, and it looks like they're being choked. Yeah. Like they're straight up being choked by these vines.
Slowly.
Yeah. So it's like it looks like they're slowly dying.
So that's kind of where their story ends for now, because they're stuck on these walls.
But I do want to mention that what Dustin and Eddie were doing was they were causing a distraction or causing noise for all of the little bats to get away from the house. So that's why it was really important for them to have their moment. And Eddie was pretty much like, rockero for a minute there. He was like playing
Master of Puppets by Metallica.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking love that. I love Metallica. Yes, I am a stan. Thank you. But he was playing that. Oh, one thing. So it's mentioned that Dustin and Eddie were picked to be this because they're the decoys.
And they're not the heroes of the story.
And Eddie keeps mentioning too, like, I'm not a hero.
And Eddie even told Steve, he was like, don't worry, Harrington, you're still going to be the hero of the story. Wait, we didn't mention. Wait, before all of this, I just want to make a note, a little thing. So before they even started their plan, they were having a moment where they were kind of like prepping for it. And so they were making like their weapons and everything. And Eddie and Dustin have a moment, and Eddie starts telling Dustin, like, never change, Dustin. Like, don't ever change. Stay who you are. And Dustin's kind of like confused.
I wasn't planning to.
I was like, I'm okay. Kind of weird, but all right.
But when it gets to the point where they're the decoy,
and he's playing the song, and all the bats come.
The bats are flying. They reach a point where they've distracted all of them, but then they start invading inside of the RV that they're in. So Dustin's like, okay, we got to bounce, like we said, and they both start running towards the exit.
Because there's a portal in his RV, remember? And
Dustin climbs out and is back in the real world. And when Eddie is going to do this, he remembers of all the times that he
ran away.
Yeah.
Because even with Chrissy, he ran away when she died in front of him. And so he starts climbing though. Yeah. But then he's hearing the bats, and he kind of has that moment of, you know what? I'm gonna spice it up this time.
And I don't remember if it's at this point, but just like in this scene or in this sequence in general, there is a point where he mentions that he's doing this for Chrissy.
It was the music. Before he played Master of Puppets, he was like, this is for Chrissy. And I thought he was going to start singing Chrissy Wake Up.
I know, Chrissy Wake Up.
I was like, oh my God. That part was really sweet though.
It was.
They could have had it all.
Eddie goes outside and is basically running.
First, he cuts the rope.
Oh yeah, he
so
does.
that Dustin can't save him or go after him.
And then Eddie goes outside and is basically biking for a bit and then fighting these bats because he's trying to make time for Steve's group. And while he's doing Nancy's group. Oh, you're right.
She's the leader, okay?
Robin's group.
No.
Okay, but he's trying to make time for them.
And it looked kind of scary because there was a lot of bats and it looked like a tornado around him.
It did. And Dustin, he was over here trying to figure out how to get to him. And he just decided that he got a chair and he was going to jump up. But remember, when you jump into the upside down, you end up backwards.
You end up falling.
And did he break his leg?
He broke his leg. Oh, no, I don't think he broke it, but I think he might have sprained it.
Yeah. So he's running towards Eddie at this moment. So Max is finally caught by Vecna.
She's in a memory, and she was able to change the memory into like a happy one, and it was actually the dance where she had her first kiss with Lucas. was so cute.
That was really sweet. And just to let you know, while she's in there, Lucas is sitting right next to her.
In the real world.
Remember, Erica's outside, but Erica ends up getting caught
by one of the basketball boys.
Yeah. Who ended up seeing her. So the basketball captain came.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason. And basically attacked her. Which, by the way, she's a freaking kid.
Not Jason. It was his friend who attacked her.
It was his friend who attacked her, but Jason runs into the house. Because he feels like there's some Satan shit going on.
Yeah, because he thinks that Hellfire is a cult, remember? And so he sees Lucas and he's just like, wake her up. Because, I mean, Max is out of it. And he's just like, wake her up. I know you're doing this. And so they start having a little fight. But in Max's mind, she sees Vecna. And Vecna, like, pushes her to the wall. And it looks like he's finally gonna, you know, do whatever he does. Kill her. And then he gets lunged to the side. And 11 shows up.
11 shows up and is fighting Vecna. And it's funny because when 11 shows up, she's next to Max. And Max is just touching her. And she's like, did
I dream you up?
Or are you real? And she's like, no, I'm real. I'm here.
But keep in mind, like, they haven't seen each other.
They haven't. And it's funny because when she asks her, like, how are you even here? I'm piggybacking in a pizza dough freezer.
And Max is like, what? Say that again.
So I think it's really cute. Like, there's that little moment between them. And like you said, they have not
seen each other.
Yeah. So while 11 is fighting Vecna, she ends up going, like, she's winning at first. But Vecna takes her to, like, his space, the red space, and pins her against the wall. And Max is knocked out because she did try, you know, helping, but it didn't work out. And Vecna is, like, about to kill Max. And he tells 11, I want you to watch.
Well, he tells her, I'm going to kill you. But first, I want you to watch.
Yes. So then when he's about to go up to Max, 11 mentions that Papa died.
Yeah, Papa's dead.
Yeah, and
he's
you know, dead. It's more his fault that you're like this. So well, it's not you.
I think she's trying to sympathize with him. Yeah, so she's like, I know
this isn't you.
Oh my god, not verbatim. Vecna,
I'm trying to fix you,
baby. Imagine.
Yeah.
So she's trying to sympathize with him and tell him, I know this isn't you. Like, I know what Papa did to you. You're not like this. And then Vecna kind of leaves Max and starts approaching 11. And 11's trying to, you know, get to him. And she keeps putting the blame on Papa. But then he's like, 11, you made me this. Yeah. You're the one who killed me. You're the one who pushed me into this world. I'm like this because of you.
And so then Vecna starts choking out 11
with the vines.
And meanwhile, just to mention, because everything's happening at once, while that's happening in the real world, Lucas is losing the fight against Jason. And
Jason tells him, like, I will shoot you if you don't wake her up.
Yes. And so it's not ending up well. And then back to 11. Remember, she's still in that ice box. With everyone else.
Not the bath, but the bath.
Yes. She's still there. And they notice that she starts kind of shaking.
Convulsing.
And
they know that she's not winning. And it's so interesting because as soon as she started fighting Vecna, Mike knew. He was like, she's fighting her. She's fighting him.
Oh, sorry. When she starts convulsing, they take her out of the water and they're trying to wake her up. And then Will.
Oh my god, Will is like, remember, Mike, you're the heart. You're the heart of this team.
And he takes this moment to be like, you know, I haven't said it, but I love you. I love you so much. The reason I don't say it is because I feel like if I say it, it's going to hurt more when you eventually leave me. But I love you. You need to keep trying.
Keep fighting. And you can win this. I love you with superpowers, without superpowers. I've never been scared of you.
Yes. And then everything's happening quick. So at that point, while that's happening, Vecna is already up to Max and has his hand over her. So in the real world, Max starts to levitate. Yeah. And Lucas is like freaking out. So he does get the upper hand
on Jason. And Jason did destroy her little, what is this called? Walker?
Yeah, her Walkman.
And yeah, it was so Jason destroyed the Walkman, and so he couldn't, even if Lucas was able to, he couldn't save her with music.
And 11 did end up, you know, getting the upper hand, but in the real world, while Vecna's actually holding his hand over Max,
her limbs start popping.
Yeah, so she starts breaking.
And at the same time that's happening, we should just mention that back to Eddie and Dustin. Eddie is already on the ground, and well, he was fighting the bats for a minute, but then he's already on the ground, and you can see that the bats are already
eating at him, and Dustin's trying to run up to him.
He's like screaming for him, but his leg is hurt, so he can't move that fast. But back to Russia. Okay. Hopper is with Joyce, and they're like running away from all of these Demogorgons, and they're like trying to fight them. So everything is happening at the same time.
And it looks really bad. Like it's not ending up well for anyone.
For any team. Yeah.
And
also, remember, Nancy, Steve, and Robin are being choked out. And Vecna did have a moment where he told Eleven, like, they're all going to die. Also, he also told her, I see everything. I knew everybody's plan. I know what you guys are doing.
When Myers starts killing all of the Demogorgons and Demodogs
with the flamethrower,
Steve, Nancy, and Robin are finally let go
from the vines because now the power is weakening.
Yeah, so there's less vines. They run up the stairs and they see where Vecna's at.
And he's just like floating.
He's floating there.
He's oh my gosh. Floating.
And they just start attacking him. And at this point,
they start burning him.
And as soon as he starts walking up to them, they're still burning him. They're still throwing Molotovs. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
And Nancy is shooting him with a shotgun. While 11 is also fighting him. But they were a little too late because Max does end up,
getting popped. I think one of her arms and one of her legs.
It was all of them. It was both of her arms and both of her legs.
Was it? Okay.
It was everything, but it was one by one.
And then her eyes were bleeding.
Yeah, her eyes were bleeding, but they didn't pop.
When they are attacking Vecna's body, he is walking towards them, right? You said that. But then when Nancy shoots at him, he falls out of the window because of the impact. So he falls out of the house and all the way to the floor, and he's like burning. And so with 11, 11 is still in Max's mind, and everything starts disappearing. And so that's when Max falls to the ground.
Yes.
And Lucas is holding her. Yeah. And they're like both crying, and she's freaking out, and she's just like,
I can't feel anything. I can't see anything. I don't want to die. I'm
not ready. Yeah.
Yeah. And Erica comes in at this point too, and Lucas is just like, you need to call a hospital. We need to get her somewhere where they can help her. But she does end up passing away in his arms.
And Eddie's dying.
And
then Eddie is telling him,
you need to take over Hellfire. I told you it was my year. I was going to graduate.
Yeah, he said he was going to graduate, that this was his year. And
Eddie also ends up dying in Dustin's arms.
Yeah.
So
11 is still in her mind, though, because
she's not leaving because she's basically in the mindscape right next to Lucas and Max.
So she's holding on to Max while she's dead. Yeah. And
wait. First of all, how did you feel seeing Max snap, crackle, pop? Is that what it is?
That is what it is. The Rice Krispies?
Yeah.
How did I feel? I was already crying because of Eddie. I knew he was going to die the moment he told Dustin all that. I knew he was going to die, and it was fucking pissed me off because it's the same shit that happened with Alexi. And what's his name?
Bob.
Yes, Bob. I was like full on crying. I was so sad.
Yeah. So
how did you feel?
Already crying. I was sad about Eddie. And then with Max, I was completely thrown off.
You were thrown off?
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to happen either. Because we were already kind of experienced it, sort of.
Yeah, we did. So, and this is how I felt about Hopper, and I still feel about Hopper. Because they had their near-death experience, I didn't think they would be the ones up to die.
So you don't expect Hopper to die at all?
No, I mean, look at him.
Look at him. The skinny legend.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I was crying because Lucas was absolutely heartbroken. Even 11 was crying really hard too because she was, trying to hold on to her.
Yeah.
But when this happened, then you hear the 4 chimes. The
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You do it so well. Yeah, you hear that, and everyone hears it, and everyone's
Nancy,
like,
when they hear it, Nancy's just like, it's Max.
Yeah, it's Max. And so they like start trying to head out, and the real world starts getting like
the upside down. Because there starts to be like an opening for a gate.
It's like a crater is being formed. Not a crater. It's
sucks.
Like a rift.
Which kind of sucks because where the gate opened is right where Jason was.
That
boy got sliced in half.
That part threw me off because it was right after Max. You know, we had that moment with Max, and then you just see him being split open. You see guts too, right?
I think so.
Did I just imagine that? I was like, what the
He's
fuck?
gone though.
And he screamed too, and everything just starts happening. So there's like these like lines
that connect all of the gates.
It's like coming into like the ground.
Yeah.
And so it's only Hawkins, right?
Yeah.
Only Hawkins is being invaded. And so now we know, well, guess Vecna is still alive.
He's still kicking.
He's still alive. And all that fire didn't do anything. So we know that what was prophesized is being fulfilled, right?
Yes.
What he said would happen is happening now.
Yes.
But 11 is still with Lucas and Max.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And she starts reminiscing on all of the moments that she had with Max.
All of the 2 moments, yeah.
It was like season 3.
I know. It's just kind of funny because it was the same 2 moments of the mall and the bottle thing. And I was like, oh, I kind of wish they had built just a little more.
I get it. But she starts thinking about that, and then she just puts her hand over her chest, and she's like,
not like this.
Yeah.
Not your time.
And then there's a time skip of 2 days.
Yep.
And what happens then?
Because of all of this stuff that was happening, it did affect Hawkins, but they said it was just like an earthquake.
Yeah.
And it was really devastating because a lot of people died.
22 people died, and then there's a lot of people missing, and then also Eddie is still
missing, but still the suspected murderer for all the people who died in the satanic ritual
and also
type of way.
like the cult leader, suspected
of Hellfire,
right? And so at this point, Argyle, Jonathan, 11, Will, and Mike are driving into Hawkins, and then you see everybody leaving because they're just like, hell no, get me out of here.
So when they finally drive into Hawkins, they go to Mike's house where they crash into Nancy, Dustin, Robin, and Steve, who are all packing donation boxes for the relief fund because a lot of people were hurt during this earthquake.
And then so they see each other and everybody hugs, and it's a really cute moment because they finally reunited.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny in moments like this because, you know, if I were in that moment, let's say I was Will, okay? I'm Will. It's funny getting out of the car and everyone's looking at each other and you're like, okay, who the fuck do I hug? Like, who in my life matters more to me right now? Because I can't hug Mike's mom. He's going for Mike. So
she's looking right at him.
Yeah, can't do that one. You know, so it's funny to me because they were uneven. So Will and Elle hug Dustin, which is cute, but it's kind of funny because it's like, you know, you were my last option. I was going to hug Mike's mom, but...
I was going to hug Nancy, but, you know, she jumped into Jonathan's arms.
I was actually going to hug...
Predictable.
I was going to hug Jonathan because I love my brother so much, but I know that it wasn't the moment for that.
I know, that's for later.
But they all do hug, and Nancy ends up going with Jonathan, Argyle, Elle, Will, and Mike, who go to the cabin where Elle used to live with Hopper.
Yeah, and the reason that they're there is because, remember, the military is still looking for her. So they're like, this is the good hiding spot for you. But it's a mess, so they end up cleaning it up, and they're boarding up the windows. And do you want to mention the moment between Nancy and Jonathan?
They do end up talking, and they basically say that they've missed each other. Is that how it starts?
I think so. I mean, they kind of, the moment is kind of like...
awkward.
Yeah.
It's awkward because while they're talking, Jonathan makes a little comment like, are we okay? And she's like, yeah, of course we're okay.
Yeah, of course.
We're like, you're the only guy I think about ever.
Only man I ever think about it. Oh my God, they do bring up Steve too.
Yeah.
I forgot why they bring him up.
Because they were like, oh, who was in charge? Or who's going to be in charge? Steve.
Obviously not that loser.
And
Nancy is like, well, you know, he's actually changed a lot.
Yeah, he's grown up a lot. And Jonathan kind of makes a face like, oh. Well, if you love Steve so much, why don't you just marry him? He like runs into Elle's room
was like, God damn.
He's having a moment again.
But you know what else happens? In that moment, they bring up the application to college.
Yes. And
he lied.
Jonathan's just like, oh, I haven't received it. Weird.
I haven't received anything, actually. And remember, in the previous episodes, he did tell Argyle, like, oh my God, you know what? Me and her, we're not going to go to the same college. I already made my plans. It's going to be a different one. So he already has plans that don't involve her.
It's very strained between them. And even with her saying it's okay, it doesn't look okay.
You can tell that even she's not in it. She's just like, yeah.
I don't want her to end up with Steve.
Totally.
I don't want her to end up with Steve leaving the relationship like that. I hate that it just fizzled out when they had so much connecting them.
Like what?
They both went to the Upside Down together for the first time. I thought that was cute. And I just think them being like the crime fighting team was really cute. I like that dynamic. And that,
but nothing lasts forever.
I know, but the way that they did it wasn't like executed in a satisfying way with me being okay with like, you know, he'll be fine. Because they're just gonna like leave him and he's just gonna like become a stoner. Like, is that what's happening to him?
He's been a stoner. What do you mean? I know,
but I just...
That doesn't have anything to do with her. She's...
It makes me sad. Are you okay with that? With the way they're going to end?
I don't know. What I am glad that didn't happen was that Nancy and Steve's relationship didn't get any deeper while she's still with Jonathan.
Yes,
because I want them to have a clean break. If they are going to break up, I want them to have that moment before anything happens with her and Steve. Anything deeper than what's happened. Because I don't think anything that deep has happened.
No, it's just been thoughts. And just moments of looking at each other.
Yeah, and just like longingly, you know?
I just don't know. I don't really want her and Jonathan together anymore. But I don't want him to just be killed off. You know what I mean?
I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know if they're going to kill him off or kill Steve off. And I'm scared of her. But I would be okay if she goes back to Steve. Because he has grown a lot as a person.
I know.
And so has she, but...
I don't know.
So we're going to stay in the cabin, but just to mention, what 11 did was restart Max's heart. Mm-hmm. So Max is in a coma and she is in the hospital, and Lucas is actually with her, but there's no thoughts in her mind because 11 tried to go into her mind and there was nothing happening. Yeah,
it's just dark and she can't find Max.
Yeah, so 11 is in her room in the cabin and she's having a moment, and then that's when the car pulls up. And I mean, we already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When Elle went into her room, she did leave the door 3 inches open. And so she's having this moment, and then the door opens, and...
It's skinny-ass Hopper.
And Hopper's
looking like, so good.
He's just like, hey, kid. And she's just like full on in tears. She runs to him. They start hugging. She's crying. And she's like telling him, I left it 3 inches open. I've always left it 3 inches open because I always had hope. And he's just like, I know.
Yeah. And it's really cute. He has such a dad moment with her where it was like, oh my God, your hair. Your hair. I stole your look, kid.
I know.
It's really sweet. And... they look out the window and she sees Joyce and she's just like, oh, you weren't the only one that didn't give up on me.
Yeah.
And then 11 runs outside to hug Joyce. 11 says to her, I'm really glad you went to your conference.
Yeah.
You brought back a whole ass dad. Oh my God.
Right. She's probably like, this bitch, she lied to me.
But while everyone's doing their own thing, they're over here at the cabin. They're over here at the cabin. Lucas is in the hospital with Erica and Max. And Dustin, Robin, and Steve are helping out in the relief area for the community. Mm-hmm. They start to notice these
little particles falling off from the sky, and you even see Holly, which is Mike's smallest sister or small sister, and she's like, "Mom, it's snowing!"
And then when you take a closer look, because 11 does look at the flowers.
They walk. They're like walking towards something. Mm-hmm. And the further they get, they start to realize that everything is dying. Like all of the flowers are dying.
And it's starting to look like the Upside Down.
Will had a moment where he felt it too.
Because he touches the back of his neck. And he even mentions to Mike, I forgot to mention this. He mentions to Mike, who, by the way, is like, I hope all of this is over. Will does mention, I
It's not over.
It's not over.
I can feel him. And I can feel that he's hurt, but he's alive.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, the Upside Down is basically in their town now. Mm-hmm. And that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it ends. Or is there anything you want to talk about first before we say overall thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Where do I start?
I know. Even though it was only 2 episodes, it feels like so much happened.
I was so torn when Max died. Because I was like, oh my God, the Duffies?
They did that.
They're not scared of killing off their characters. Mm-hmm. Because some shows are like that. Mm-hmm. Off tangent, but on topic. There was this one show I used to watch as a kid that they killed off one of the main characters. And I remember how much it hurt me because it was like such a like big thing. But I remember reading like years later, because I like looked it up because I was curious. When the author killed off that character, he went into like a really bad like spell of depression. Like he was so sad that every time he makes another story, he never kills off his characters. So now people are kind of mad at him because they know that he won't kill off his characters.
That's plot armor.
Yes. So oh my God, dude, that's so funny that you say that because I made a TikTok. I didn't post it, but I made a TikTok of me in tears. And I was like, I used to think the Stranger Things cast had plot armor. They don't. And I just like cut it off there.
You should post it.
But I'll show it to you right now because I have to explain my thoughts. So that's what I thought. So when they brought Max back, I was a little like...
Were you disappointed?
Yeah. Because they've never done that before. When has it ever shown that 11 can actually manipulate
someone's heart?
It's never happened.
It makes sense, but I wish they would have showed it before.
Or her working up to it.
Or like she has her trying it before, but it never worked. Yeah. And I mean, technically it didn't work this time because she's not... we don't know if she's really alive.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think they would keep her alive just to kill her
again.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. But then when she came back, and then when it was positive that Eddie died, I was like, it's kind of interesting that the ones who die are the ones that show up that season.
Yeah. So you kind of already expect it. So
now I feel like if Max did die, I mean, she's not in the original squad.
That's what I was thinking. Oh my God, that's what I was thinking when she was like, her limbs were breaking. I was like, is it because she wasn't in the first season?
Be honest, Duffies.
Be honest. I know you're watching this. I know you're hearing this. Is that why? Because it makes sense.
I hate that.
You know, I don't want any of them to die, honestly. I really don't. I'm going to be devastated if it does happen. But I kind of feel similar to you where I was so heartbroken with what was happening with Max that when it was revealed that, oh, she's not actually dead, I was a little disappointed only because it feels like, I don't know, like it feels like we're going through this death, but it's not actually a death.
It's plot armor.
Yeah.
It feels like plot armor.
It's kind of like with Hopper.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like they're only teasing it, but they're not going to do it. And then remember when I mentioned in the episode before, which by the way you should watch, in the episode before, I mentioned that Noah Schnapp made a post with him wearing a harness. And he's like all harnessed up. It just feels like they're messing with us now.
Oh, yeah.
I was not happy with Max living. It hurt the way that she died, and I wish it would have ended there. It would have sucked, but it shows that even they are capable of dying.
You know what I wanted with that whole moment with Dustin and Eddie? I thought it was so predictable, right? Because they had a moment where Eddie was like, never change, whatever. Yeah. I thought it would have hurt more if Dustin died, because then what Eddie said would have been meaningless, because then he wouldn't have had a chance to change. So I did expect Eddie to die, but then afterwards I was like, oh, it should have been Dustin.
Because it would have hurt more with Dustin.
It would have hurt more with Dustin. I mean, okay, I don't know actually, because I really loved Eddie. I was so mad when he died. I couldn't even speak. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think it would have hurt more with Dustin only because I would know. Because if you think about it, he was only really friends with Dustin and Mike in that huge group of people who are in this upside down thing. But it would have hurt because he would have stuck in the group for Dustin.
Yeah. Exactly. He would have stayed in it. And it just hurts me to know that Eddie did have an arc, right? He was this coward and now he died a hero. And yeah, it was a good arc, whatever. But he died a hero to people who hated him. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's great.
And it sucks. I like how this was done, but it really sucks that the only one that knows that he died a hero was his uncle.
Oh, yeah, because Dustin tells him.
Dustin does tell him, and it's so sad.
It's such a sad moment. Mm-hmm. And he gives him his little necklace.
The guitar pick. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. I don't know. They did say it was going to be a bloodbath.
They did.
Not really.
I mean, okay, Dr. Brenner died. Okay, who else died? Dr. Brenner died.
Dr. Brenner.
Eddie.
Max for a minute, but she came back. So I'll put that one half up, half down. I'm doing the same thing.
Who else? Is that it?
Yeah.
That's literally it.
It's not much of a bloodbath.
I mean, a lot of, like, people around them died.
Yeah. And
there was blood with the balloons that were popping.
That's what I was thinking of, too. But, nah.
I don't know.
I think it's funny that, these episodes are so long and these seasons are so long. But there is, like, one of my complaints is that they don't develop the relationships between all of the characters well enough.
There's so many characters.
There's so many. So, like, even at the end, Dustin hugging 11, I'm just like, okay, but have you guys talked? Like, ever?
Do you guys even message each other?
I don't know.
Well, letters.
Do you guys AOL? That's not there yet. But if you had it, would you?
Would you be down? Would I be in your top 5?
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And I was already feeling that before. But hearing you say it, I was like, okay, I'm not alone.
Validated.
I felt validated. Okay, I was already feeling like, yes, I do love all of these relationships between the friends and everything. But some of the relationships aren't really developed that well. Like 11 and Will, 11 and Jonathan, and 11 and doesn't. Is it just 11? I don't know. It's just... I kind of wish there would be a little bit more, but there is so much happening. I kind of wish, don't get me wrong, I love what was happening in Russia, but I kind of wish that maybe those moments were a little bit shortened. Yeah. That way we can have more, character development between their relationships.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That whole Russia thing threw me off. Like putting in Russia.
Really?
Doing that.
No, yeah, I get it, but I mean.
When was that? Season 3?
Yeah. I get it.
Threw
me off too.
Yeah.
You know what I really appreciated though? We said some dislikes. Did you have any other dislikes before I said a like?
No. Okay, go ahead.
So something that I really appreciated is the fact that they're slowly showing that it's not just 11 saving the world. Like the team, like Nancy's team, is also very adequate on their own. Because technically, they were the ones that really weakened him.
Yeah, they were.
I think 11 was just there. She was honestly distracting him. Mm-hmm. So I really like that. Even in the last season when she lost her powers, and even now to, the team weakening him, I really like that. Oh, it's not just 11 and just her using her telekinesis.
Well, my biggest like is Will, because I freaking love him. And I'm so worried for him. Because he's so emotionally unstable right now.
Yeah. You know what? Oh my God. Wait. You just reminded me. Okay. So the reason why I'm also a little disappointed with the ending is because what I expected to happen at the very end, Vecna already showed that he can get into people's minds without having to do the little clock thing. Because he did that with Nancy, right? He showed her what happened in his life. I really expected him to get into Will's mind at that moment. I thought he was going to get in there and be like, I missed you, Will. Or something.
Everyone else, they meant nothing to me.
But you?
I know.
I thought he was going to, say something to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he was weak, but, come on.
There's a part of me that's scared that Will might become evil. Not evil, but, I
don't see that,
do something bad. I do. He goes through so much shit. He does go through so much. And it feels like he's constantly put on the back of everyone's mind. Not priority at all.
For someone who was abducted or missing or whatever he was.
For someone whose name was season 1, episode 1, literally the title of the episode.
The disappearance of Will.
They don't talk about him?
Oh, we thought that's how this one was going to end, huh?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
We thought that he was going to disappear. Nope. They don't care about him.
No, they don't.
Which is funny because I feel like out of all the actors, Noah Schnapp is the one that's most into it. He posts a lot, dude. Oh my gosh.
But how did you feel about the ending?
I'm excited for the next season.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen next.
I don't either.
But with the way it ended, I love the connection that Will has to the Upside Down. Yeah. I want it to be more talked about.
Yeah, I want it to be deeper too. Yeah. Like I want it to show more that, he can actually feel them.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, because since he's connected to Vecna, I thought that there would be a way for him to acquire powers, or at least something. Yeah. You know? Oh, I don't know. I have so much hopes for just Will. No one else.
The only character you like?
Will. Hopper being a skinny legend. And Vecna's fat ass.
What about 11?
She's okay.
I love 11.
I like her too, actually. I really like 11.
They're going to have a time jump, though. That's what they said. They're going to have a time jump because they want the characters to reflect their actual ages. Because I think the characters are like, 15?
But
16?
In reality, they're like 20. That's crazy.
Dustin is 20, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think Millie is 18, 19?
I wonder if they're just not going to go back to California.
No, I doubt it. You know, I was like, what happened to Angela? Is her nose okay?
I know. Is she good? She's Vecna. Her nose is
gone. Wait. It makes sense now. I'm connecting the dots.
Have you ever seen Vecna and Angela in the same place at the same time?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
And I see Vecna often.
Yeah, me too. He's my wall screen. He's my lock screen on my phone. It's not.
It's probably still Hopper. It's Heartstopper.
Stop mentioning it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm okay with where it's at right now. I think I would give this season a 5 out of 5.
Because of Hopper?
Actually, a 4 out of 5. Only because of the plot armor. You know what? A 3 out of 5.
Okay, relax.
3.6 out of 5. I did really like the season.
But we don't know if Max is actually going to survive this or not.
I think she is. I don't think they're going to kill her in a comatose state. Why are they going to bring Sadie for like one day of shooting and they're just like, okay, just fall asleep. She's like, okay.
Done. You know, who do you think would die in the next season? Okay, let's talk about our predictions for next season. What do you think would happen in the next season?
I think Max is going to make it. Oh my gosh. Dude, you remember that really specific trope that I told you that I really like? When shows do the thing where
the name?
No, when shows do the thing where when one of them is blinded and they ask them, are you okay? And it's like, I've never seen more clearly.
That you like that?
Yeah, I freaking love when shows do that, where like someone loses something.
Isn't that a little cliched?
Oh, dude, is it? Because I freaking love that.
Give me an example. Like, what have you seen that you're like?
Alchemist Brotherhood does that, but also the Raven Boys kind of does that. Not that specific, but losing something that doesn't affect anyone else. Because if you watched our Raven Boys episode, Adam loses hearing in one ear. Mm-hmm. And it's something that affects you that doesn't affect anyone else. And it's
like
just
people
like
don't notice.
It's a long-term thing. If Max is blind, that's going to make me really sad.
She is blind.
But like, I don't know what 11 did.
I'm pretty sure she's
Wouldn't
blind.
she also be paralyzed?
I think so, yeah.
So
I mean, hello, her limbs were like...
Yeah. Oh my God. That's going to make me sad.
I'm already sad.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it, honestly. I don't know. I can see her dying, though. I can see it being like, we tried, but we got to pull the plug. It would be stupid, though.
No, I don't see it. I don't think Dustin's going to die because of that beautiful plot armor that Eddie built for him. Now he can't change. He took it literally. He's not changing his clothes.
He's not changing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
I don't think Dustin's going to die. Do you agree with me?
I can see him dying.
Really? Mm-hmm. I can't see Erica or Lucas dying.
I can't see them dying either.
You think Dustin's going to die?
I could see him dying, yeah.
No, because
Eddie protected him. I'm sorry, are you a Duffy brother? Are you a Duff? Are you a Duff?
I'm not a Duff, but I'm a Duff head. So, like, I don't see him dying. I don't see any of those dying.
I can see it happening because it would be sad.
It would be sad, but, like, they're not going to do that. I'm so... Because they made Max live, I don't think they're capable of it. I'm not challenging them or anything. Dude,
they're going to listen to this. They're going to hear this and be like, oh, challenge?
Now we're going to kill everyone.
Everyone except Dustin.
Everyone except Jonathan. He's going to live. Oh, my gosh. I don't know. I can't imagine any of them dying except for Will.
You can't imagine Nancy dying?
No.
Really?
No.
I can see her dying.
I can see Jonathan dying more than... And I hate it. I
can see Nancy and Jonathan dying.
I don't want it to be predictable. I want it to hurt, like how Max hurt. Because I didn't think she was going to die.
Well, she didn't die.
I know, but I didn't think it was going to get to that point with her. So...
Yeah. I don't want it to be predictable either. So maybe they'll all die. Because they're like, well, we've been teasing all these bloodbaths.
I hope that however they end it, it's not because of what the audience wants.
What if they kill 11? I can see that.
I can see them killing 11 as like a... She does one more heroic thing.
She dies with Vecna. I'd be so sad when Vecna dies. When he's gone, when he's out of the picture.
They become 12.
What?
They mix. They do that Harry Potter ending where they both fight and they become one being of like good and evil, and it's like neutral.
But I wouldn't say 11 is that good. She's kind of morally gray.
She did
destroy that helicopter
and destroyed Angela's face. So
okay, that one I'll give it to
deserved. Her. Yeah.
I could see 11 dying with Vecna though. I can see that.
That would tear up Mike. But at this point...
What if Mike dies?
I don't think they're going to kill Mike. Which is kind of funny because he was portrayed as the main character in season 1. But if he died, I think the story can go on without him.
Can it?
Yeah.
He's the heart.
Everyone's like, I don't want to go to the Upside Down anymore. It's not fun anymore. Hopper, Joyce, and Myers. You know, I did not know who Myers was at all. Like, no. He was in season 2. Right? Yeah, he was in season 2. Yeah. Season 3, and of course this season. But in season 2, I was just like, I don't know who this man is. I didn't know how much I would care for him at this point.
Yeah, I can see him dying.
I can see him dying, doing something heroic, because he is a very heroic person now. Mm-hmm.
I don't see Joyce and Hopper dying.
No. I think it's going to hurt more them losing their kids. You know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny? Not funny. Wouldn't it be, like, really messed up if, like, Jonathan dies and she reacts, like, less dramatically than she did when Will disappeared?
Aww. Jonathan.
My kid.
What was his name?
Jonathan. Like, she wrote it on her hand.
I mean, I can see that.
She's a very good parent, though. I can see her being heartbroken.
But Jonathan, he's just there. So, will he be missed? No.
He actually doesn't pay rent, which kind of fucks me up.
But I think I would give this season a 5. I really liked it. I did obviously have problems with it, but I really liked it overall. So, I was watching this with my brother, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want to guess how he feels about Will? Because, you know, I love Will. And
I love your brother. Yeah. But you're making me choose right now. I don't know if he likes Will. I don't think he does.
Okay, so I actually don't know because my brother is not the type of person who's, like, serious half the time. And so we were watching it together, right? And it was the moment when Will was having that moment with Mike in the beginning. In the car, and he was telling him, like, Elle really needs you, but he was really talking about himself.
Yeah.
And I was just, like, having a moment. I was like, I fucking love Will. And my brother was like, nah, Will is so insignificant. wait, let me finish. Okay. He was like, Will is so insignificant. He's just like, he's kind of like Princess Peach. He's always needing to be saved, and he's like the damsel in distress. By the way, he didn't say all of this in this sitting, because the damsel in distress came at the end. When he felt Vecna. Yeah. When he felt Vecna, my brother was like, oh, always the damsel in distress. And I'm just like, he has not needed saving this season, okay? Leave him alone. But I thought the Princess Peach was kind of funny, though.
Because I love Princess Peach.
He doesn't. I told him, I was like, without Princess Peach getting kidnapped, there'd be no adventure.
There wouldn't.
You're welcome.
And also, she's really good.
Exactly.
As Will is. Will is also really good.
Equally, right?
Just took 2 blows at me. What the heck? How did he know I loved Princess Peach so much?
I didn't know you did.
I love Princess Peach.
Sorry.
Oh it's okay. I'm sorry. I yelled at you.
I just thought that was funny though.
Damn.
But
dude.
you know what? My brother, I could tell that he does like care because I'm not gonna explain how we were like laying down, but he was behind me and like. So when that moment was happening with Will and his brother Jonathan, I was like looking away from my brother. I was like on this like watching the screen, and I was like in tears, crying, and he could tell. Right as the moment was happening, he put his hand on my back and he was like patting me.
Oh,
he
my
knew
God.
he knew that moment
That's
meant a lot to
sweet.
me, and I was just like sobbing. I was like,
okay, I forgive him.
I love Will.
I forgive him.
He's such a Pisces, though. Will, not my brother.
Okay, I was about to say.
You're like, he's not a Pisces.
He's an Aries, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Will is such a Pisces.
Yeah, he is.
That moment when he was like crying into his hand, I was like, that's something I would do.
Yep. That's my Tuesday. That was my Tuesday.
That was yesterday.
But I think we're done.
We have made it to the end.
Thank you for visiting me twice.
Yeah, of course. This is really fun. I'm so happy that you watched this. Thank you. I know it was super last minute.
No, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Adventure. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
And next is The Voice. Cut that out, Cheli.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe if it's on camera, it'll like give us incentive to have to do it.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, but thank you everyone for watching and listening. If you are listening to us in audio form, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere else you get podcasts on, if you can leave us a review and a rating of 5 stars, that would be amazing.
Oh, we would really appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you want to tell your friends, families, loved ones, hated ones, Vecna, and the entire Upside Down, which apparently is here now, so just everyone in general.
Yeah, totally.
If you want to tell them about us, that would be really nice because the best way to get exposure is through word of mouth. If you So we've heard, apparently. Mm-hmm. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe, how did you feel about this season?
Were you also thirsting over Vecna? Just me? Okay.
It's just us? Okay, it's fine. No, it's fine. Really, it's fine.
This is awkward now.
But if you can also hit that notification bell because it will let you know when we post, which is usually Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm done. That's my spiel.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
It feels weird because this is usually the point where we'll like read a review off of like Goodreads or Rotten Tomatoes.
So now we're going to say our own reviews.
I know.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Roll the dice. And if it lands on an odd, let's just rip this apart.
Well, I mean, we did have some moments where we were being a little critical, but that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. It's not a bad
thing, no. Because I still really like Stranger Things.
And I'm going to watch the next season.
And I'm excited for Horror Nights if they have a Stranger Things, which they should.
They should. Hello.
Yeah. I need to see Max spinning in the air.
I need to see Vecna from all angles.
But we wouldn't be scared. We'd be like, Vecna.
Vecna, can I have your autograph?
Wait,
maybe?
Vecna, you trapped me in this room. What are we?
Wait, Vecna, this isn't my worst memory.
Vecna,
there's worse.
You separated me from my group?
Trying to get me alone?
It's not my worst memory because you're in it. Vecna!
And he'd be like, I need to go.
I know. He's like, in fighting position with his hand up, but then he's like, where?
No, I'm interested.
Oh my gosh. But we'll be back in 2 years.
Approximately.
When season 5 comes back. I am going to go into hibernation. We're going to go get pizza and let's just pass away at that pizza place.
Pizza.
Oh my god. Do you think they'll like empty the freezer for us?
Yeah.
I'll be on the bottom and you can just be on top of me.
Like a baby.
Yeah. And let's just go to sleep.
All right. Sounds like a plan. So we'll see you in 2 years, everyone.
Or you can join us next week for a book review.
Yeah, I feel like books and stuff. I don't know.
But thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next week. Bye.
But Vecna, though.
Look at me with those eyes, dude.
I don't know.
Because I know you're going to say something about Vecna and it's really fucking me up.
I don't know if you're joking or if you're being serious.
Dude, I was going to say, What if this entire series, the whole thing, all seasons, exactly the same, nothing different, except Vecna has a rat tail? Just with the remaining hair that grows, like the only follicles that work is just one rat tail. So you know it's like Nancy with her shotgun, and she's just like, fucking rat tail.
She'd be distracted by the rat tail.
Yeah, because he'd be like, you know, when he's about to lift his arms to use his powers, he's like, okay, flip my rat tail, like kind of hits Will's face or something. And he's just like, oh.
Whoa, that was longer than I thought.
What is that, like 2 or 3 feet worth of rat tail? That rat tail's longer than you. It's like running down the floor.
That's actually really romantic.
Rat tail necklace.
That's really romantic, actually.
I know, it kind of is romantic. Wait. Duffies. They're already editing Will's birthday.
Oh, we should say that. So if they change Will's birthday, he won't be a Pisces anymore.
He is a Pisces.
He would be a Gemini.
He's not a Gemini.
He's not a Gemini. That's a Pisces right there.
Yeah.
I always be crying too.
So don't change that, but since you already put money towards changing and editing something, add a rat tail. Come on! You know he would have to do something with those.
Why a rat tail and not a mullet?
Oh my god. Wait, hear me out.